Oriana's team missed out on an insane Game 1 and semifinal number 2 between paiN Gaming and OceloteWorld. It all came down to one play at the end. One crescendo, one Mikhail's Crucible, and one command shockwave out of Oriana. It was insane, and what a way to kick off the second semifinal. And paiN Gaming winning the first map.
That's not what people expected. That is not what people expected at all, because people think of Brazil as not being a particularly strong team, and you think Ocelot, with several well-known players from the EU, LCS, or the Challenger scene, didn't win the game. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually chatting really quick with Alex Mueller, who's the owner of SK Game, and he was saying that reminded me a lot of an Oriana shockwave that happened back at Gamescom 2012. He was referring to when Ocelot pulled off an amazing shockwave versus Evil Geniuses to pull them back into the game and pull them into a victory and take them into the Worlds eventually. And I mean, we've seen so many amazing shockwaves. Like, that is in the top 3 of my memory. The one that Ocelot did back at Gamescom 2012 was as well. But the number 1 to me is still that 3,000 ELO shockwave that Frelnard pulled off to get alternate back or into the actual summer promotion series.
Yes.
Yeah, the LCS, and that was so well done by paiN. I cannot imagine what was going through their heads, because I can guarantee one thing: they could not think because of how loud that crowd was. It was ridiculous. I couldn't even hear myself talking. But now they have one more game to go, one more map, and they can be in the grand finals to go up against Millennium here and to fight for their chance to get into the World Championships for Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice.
Yeah, that is a real prize that they're going to look for, because I don't think there's any tournament that's going to be nearly as prestigious actually kind of based in Brazil. Like, Katowice is, I don't know what the actual prize pool is, but it's a big, big deal.
I think some women are getting pregnant just looking at that right now. If you winked, it would definitely be like Hercubot all over again. But I know the majority of the caster line for Katowice as well, and it's pretty damn good. So it's going to be an insane event. If you guys remember it last year is when we had the expected backdoor against Ocelot, and probably the most widely known play out of the entirety of League of Legends so far by him with that casted, and it is insane. The crowd is amazing there. The stadium is going to be completely full either way, and right now, I mean, if you hear the crowd during that last game, they pretty much can compete with that, because there's about, I want to say 300-400 people outside, all, you know, standing up, or standing room only, but it sounds like there's a crowd of 2,000 out there.
Yeah, paiN is a massively popular team in Brazil, really popular themselves. Ocelot's brand kind of seems to transcend regional barriers. He's really, really popular here, but paiN are they're the TSM, basically. They're the CLGs, the teams that have been around since the beginning of the scene and that have been dominant in them for a long time.
All right, we'll be getting underway momentarily here, and this is going to be a match for the ages. I mean, paiN, they didn't even make it into the semifinals last year here at Sao Paulo. They haven't made, no Brazilian teams even made it into the grand finals before, and this could be a first for them and really show that there's a lot of talent here in Brazil and that they're an up-and-coming region right now. And you look at OceloteWorld's team, and they look very, calm. It doesn't look like they were really flustered after that. I saw them actually standing outside the backstage, and they were talking to each other like, guys, let's focus up. Forget about that last game. It's all right, and let's come into this one and really start to show our true colors here. And speaking of that, we're going to get the picks and bans, and Vi going to be taken away immediately from paiN Gaming.
Yeah, keeping that out of the hands of Morden. Maybe they're going to try and force him back onto Lee Sin. That didn't work out for him the other couple of times we've seen so far. And Surtees seemed to have a very, very good read of his jungle path.
Very true. Both of them were always meeting in the same spots throughout the first 10-15 minutes of the game when they were trying to make those games happen. But paiN going to take away that Annie. Wasn't too happy with D with landing off those stuns and really giving them that early game advantage in the bottom lane. If you remember, Hadal, he got a level 2 kill. I believe that was onto actually BRTT as well, onto Jinx. So they were able to open that one up and get a strong early advantage. However, it didn't really transcend into a big advantage later on because they were still even in CS the entire time.
There were a lot of team fights in that game. It was very much a group situation. Arguably, I'd actually say JWoww didn't do enough with his lead, but the fact that he had a lead in the first place was pretty surprising, given the matchup.
Yeah, well, other bans are coming in here for OceloteWorld. We have Caston taken away, Oriana taken away, for good reason after we saw that last game. Kami by paiN here.
Yeah, and it's like fact about paiN, most likely they would have left Oriana open because not only does Kami play an extremely good Oriana, Ocelot is not likely to want to pick that champion so much these days. He has had a couple of unfortunate incidents in the past, so that's essentially a free ban use, and because they had first pick this game, they also have a free ban from Castlin. So you could argue in this situation, there's only one ban here for Ocelot.
Well, right now, at least it's going to be the last ban picked up by them, and paiN immediately going to go for Gragas here for Kami in that middle lane. I want to say, I mean, obviously we saw RNA play him in the jungle earlier on today, but I think that's more of Kami's style right now.
Gragas is the safest laner. He's going to stick. That will work basically no matter what you've got. It also fits in an awful lot of compositions, and right now, OceloteWorld are most likely thinking, what are we going to do about Yasuo here? Are we going to pick it for ourselves? Are we going to try and run a mid lane against Gragas? Or are we going to let paiN get the Gragas-Yasuo combo that has worked so well for so many teams so far?
I definitely think that's something that's going ahead, considering how long it's taken them to do any sort of picks here. But right now, they're hovering over Thresh, and that will get locked in. And Dude, he was a damn fine Thresh player back in that spring split.
Thresh is available, Annie available. Yeah, Thresh is a fairly safe pick here because obviously the other top tier support, it's this kind of triangle relationship, except one is banned out. Leona is an option for paiN. There is also the option, however, for stuff like Lulu, which can work really, really well against Thresh. And if they are building a tanky kind of initiator as for, you know, for a jungler or for a top lane, that can be really, really solid to work with it. I haven't seen paiN actually pick it though, so it may not just be in their roster.
But it still might, if they want to go for Yasuo top lane, that could be a very good put it all on, and if you don't hit it from that one, you're going to hit it from Gragas either way. But I'm not sure if Venom actually plays Yasuo much top lane, but we're going to see Olaf stand on against Surteam. Give him credit, he did pretty damn well in the jungle. You know, for me, I always mention this whenever I've seen Olaf in the jungle, is Nintendo Dex. He's the first guy in my history of knowledge of ever playing Olaf in the jungle, and he consistently played it even when people thought it was bad. But it has risen back, you know, to fame. A lot of people. And Surteam did a fine job of it.
Goes in circles, really, Olaf. Yeah. Seems to vary, but at the moment he's kind of a respected top/jungler, but not a highly sought-after one. If you get that one guy that's really good at the champion, though, it's always worth doing. So, OceloteWorld, Thresh, Lucian bot lane. There's nothing too special there, but paiN have once again picked Sona into that. And I have to say that's a scary proposition because, again, someone very, very squishy against a potential load of burst.
Well, you can, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, we talked about that when we saw Sona pick the first time. We weren't really 100% convinced, considering you're against an Annie who could just kind of burst you down, as well as Ezreal, who in fact did that multiple times, pushed him out of the lane quite a few times. But that late game presence out of Sona, and can't go underestimate, as we saw in that game. It was ridiculous. It was able to open it up completely for them to win the game. But we do see Blanc and Wukong.
That's quite reminiscent of what we saw with Millennium running earlier. They were doing it with Lee Sin, but if that's a jungle Wukong, which is it's most likely at this point in the kind of meta game at the moment, that could be a roaming gank squad post-6, and that's a really, really scary proposition for paiN to deal with because they're picking a very team fight orientated team. Once again, they seem to like doing that. They get lots of AoE CC, throw it all in together and hope to come out on top in a 5-on-5. But against that roaming gank squad, if they fall behind early, they get split up, they get picked off, that could start to work against them.
One thing that OceloteWorld does have, though, at least, is that Morden, when we saw Ozone Giants back in the spring split, that was their thing. It was AoE team fights, control, CC, everything. And if any man knows how to do that, it's going to be him. He's going to know how to set this all up. But the synergy it takes to pull that off, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of time to really develop that. And right now with paiN, with that disengage out of Gragas, it might not even work.
What OceloteWorld are going to do, it is going to depend somewhat on their last pick here, because as I mentioned before, Wukong could be either, actually Shyvana could be either, but if they get that Shyvana in the top lane, that's going to give them even more map pressure in the top. Most likely will be able to push back Surteam for a long, long time. It takes Olaf a while to try and outscale, and if he falls behind even further from kills, that is an even worse situation. So you end up with a situation where you have the two-man potential roaming gank squad, Wukong and I nearly called it Kerp, and LeBlanc moving together in the bottom jungle getting picks. You get Shyvana trying to roam down, and then you get pressure on the mid lane, allowing you to start taking towers and sieging things in.
All right, well, we do have a Mumu as the last pick for paiN Gaming here. It looks like he will be in the jungle. Surteam hit so many bandage tosses when we saw him playing against Isurus. He really set up his team for a lot of kills in that first game. He did play in the second one because I just didn't feel like playing it, but he's damn good at Amumu. He's actually one of the few players I even see playing him anymore, but we're going to have Venom on Olaf top lane against the Shyvana.
I actually saw, by the way, yesterday, somebody in the Brazilian crowd holding up a piece of paper right before they played, after they played Issa's Gaming, saying Amumu open. It was dominant in that game. Now they're going to be up against a slightly stronger duelist jungler. I mean, paiN was running it against Zac before, who doesn't have that much invasion presence. If you are using Wukong against Amumu, you kind of need to try and get stuff to work for you. But Wukong is arguably an equal late-game teamfight presence.
Yeah, it depends on how they use it. I was wondering if they might pair it up with Yasuo on the top lane, kind of go for that, let's burst someone down quickly, let's end the fight right before it even begins, but they're going for that tanky top laner Shyvana. I'm not sure how much of a presence she'll be in these team fights, but in terms of lanes to watch, where do you expect all the action to really go down? Because we have that Gragas LeBlanc. We've seen that matchup just earlier on today. We have Shyvana Olaf top lane. We have that Lucian Thresh, Caitlyn Sona combo bottom. Where's your eyes going to be?
Bottom lane is the most sensible place to watch. Thresh throws back the lantern, goes in, even if he misses the death sentence for Sona, squishy character, goes down easily. And of course, Caitlyn is going to try and push early on, try and get that CS advantage and keep Lucian from using his burst. That is a scary proposition to deal with, but it does mean Sir T can fairly reliably go for counter ganks, and Amumu is actually very strong in a 3-on-3 situation, assuming it's a close-up fight.
Very true, and I really want to see what's going to happen here. paiN, I mean, they're one map away from getting into the grand finals. Also, OceloteWorld, they're one map away from being dropped out and kicked out into the semis, and that's obviously not where they wanted to be when they flew all the way here basically last minute to replace Dignitas for us. But we're underway here, guys. It's going to be paiN Gaming on the blue side. We're going to have OceloteWorld on the red here. And level 1, what do you expect?
Level 1 Thresh Hook is a big, big factor. paiN don't have on maybe that in doing that, they're heading towards that bottom area. But paiN can fairly easily at least keep vision. The main catch point is going to be around here.
Wow, and BRTT reading it right here, actually walking towards him, spotting it, and then being forced to actually just backing away. And we saw Essa do that actually with 7 wards, and he kind of got caught out, and he was forced to flash and actually level up that rocket jump when he's playing Tristana. But both teams, they're grouped up towards the bottom side of this map here. It looks like OceloteWorld are going to be the ones to actually back away.
Yeah, if you don't get someone and they know you're there, as a rule, not worth sticking around. They might catch you off guard. And even if they don't, they're not going to take an unfavorable trade. They can just counter-invade, steal your own jungle, and you won't necessarily know if they've done that. But actually looking to try and go for another invade there. Nothing really doing, though.
They were trying for something right now. I mean, this is what I like to see out of a team when they lose the first map. Is try something risky, try to go for an invade, try to make something happen early on. And they tried, but unfortunately, no one on paiN was there to really be hit by that pull and by that hook. So we do have an early ward coming down in this bush here in the river. We are going to have Morden starting up at his red, as well as Sir T starting up here at his blue. Looks like it'll be a very slow game in the beginning, but it can become very explosive. And I want to see Morden. You know, we saw him on Lee Sim. He wasn't doing that much counter jungling. He didn't pull out that many ganks. But if you're going to play a champion, like, this is exactly perfect for it. In the meantime, the bottom lane, we actually do see a hook on a Minerva there waiting inside that bush, and they're going to be trading here. And I have to say, paiN going to come out as the victors in that one, because you will have that sustain out of Stunner that you just don't have out of Thresh.
Yeah, and their health is higher as well, even before level 2 and Minerva's sustain. That gives Caitlyn the opportunity to push out. That gives her that little edge early on, the experience advantage, and forces them back. That does mean Morden now has a bit of a reason to go for that bottom lane early on, but it would be a very, very predictable gank path if he chose to go for it.
Oh, wow, you're actually seeing Dude back away off the bat. I'm not sure. Okay, let's say I wouldn't agree with that, because then Hayda would be screwed at that turret. Anyway, nice early advantage coming out of paiN here. And BRTT getting a nice amount of CS. Not even one CS picked up for Hayda with the flash.
Okay.
Coming out of BRTT might have been a little bit preemptive. Not really sure if I agree with that 100%, but that might just open up a game for Morden if he wants to visit after this blue buff.
Yeah, but even though it's a predictable gank path, if the guy has no flash, you will have a lantern to jump in. The timing would be about right for it to be level 3. if he goes for the white. Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, he doesn't want to risk being counter-ganked. You can actually see Sir T is expecting the gank. He's ready for that situation. He's heading down.
He's not going to be spotted working over here as well. And he said, hey, down D, they're relatively healthy. Morden actually not coming down right now. Sir T actually just going to back away either way since the lane is pushed up so far. So let's look at this top lane for a little bit. Venom, 15, 16 CS to the 7 of JWoww. Has a nice little bit of an early advantage. But Morden, I just want to check on Morden because he was already heading down.
Yeah, now both of the junglers are thinking about this bottom lane. But I've got to say, if Morden can get on this...
they're baiting it.
Ooh, it's
paiN
risky.
is baiting this in right now, and unfortunately that hook doesn't land, but they're still being so aggressive. They know Sir T is there. They have Kami coming down from middle lane, and they're going to make this in perfectly. Minerva is going to get slow. He's actually going to flash right. There comes Sir T. He actually lands the hook. He goes straight for Haydow. Here comes Kami from the side. They have the flashes. Will he go for it? He's going to go over the wall. He does flash. He does hit the Q and the knife, but it's just not enough damage just yet, and they will be able to escape without losing anyone.
But Kami there, smart roam, misjudged the range on the body slam flash.
They don't want to lose them in the game. They're being very aggressive. I mean, Kami just rotating down if they're sacrificing some CS, sacrificing some levels in the mid lane that might come back to bite him in the ass if Ocelot can pull that one off in that 1v1. And right now, Venom doing a great job of really punishing JWoww here in this top side. Does have that CS lead, still does have that health lead as well. And both junglers, I want to say this at least, Sir T, in the game versus Isris, on the first game that we saw him actually playing a Mumu, he really camped out middle. He really wanted to get Kami fed, and he did in that game.
This game, though, it's going to be harder, at least pre-6, to try and make anything happen. Mumu not going to have a lot of damage. Well, he'll have damage, but he won't be able to use it. Won't have a lot of CC early on. LeBlanc already very slippery. Post-6, though, with Kami, with Explosive Cask, with the double lockdown, they have the potential to go for ganks on the mid lane. But might be more worthwhile to try and snowball the bottom lane or the top, because it's rare to see JWoww falling behind early.
It really is. I mean, he is probably one of the best top laners in Europe, and he's having a tough time at the moment. But I think one of the real key factors is that even though he's, losing in terms of CS and he's, getting harassed quite a bit, he hasn't left lane yet, and he's staying alive. And he's also preventing Venom from getting a bigger CS lead than he already has, not letting him get a bigger advantage. And right now, Morden, he's heading up towards his top side. He wants to make something happen. Maybe he's expecting Sir T to come in. JWoww going in for the fight here, maybe trying to pull Sir T if he is there. Morden going to be able to get that stealth in, but he's forced to back away, and JWoww kind of just loses a lot of health for nothing right there.
Yeah, now JWoww's in a really awkward spot. Morden is also doing much the same. I don't feel like JWoww is going to be happy with how that trade went.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be happy, and it looks like they're just going to shove the lane here just so JWoww can back out, but those undertows out of Venom, they are dangerous. He doesn't care. He's pushed up against 2 people of OceloteWorld, and he just is farming in front of him. He's just not really afraid, and you can see it's so healthy. JWoww getting dropped very low right there. Venom does have Ignite. He does have Ghost. He is level 6, but JWoww finally hitting level 6 will have an ultimate to run away. And Morden was spotted heading back down towards middle from that ward in that tri-bush, but he's not level 6 yet, and we're about 6.5 minutes in. He needs to hit it soon because Sir T will be 6 momentarily.
Yeah, neither of the junglers, though, are going to be able to get mid done before 6. Wukong needs that ultimate to cancel the Gragas body slam if he wants to get anything done. And right now, it's not too bad. Wukong will be able to farm the jungle pretty efficiently. He is a very solid jungler once he's gotten his first couple of levels. That does mean he is going to be a little bit behind Sir T, and the timing of go for it would be pretty solid because the lane is pushed quite hard, and Ocelot is starting to try and get the harass down with his own ultimate.
And it's interesting to see, he's actually living up a little bit different than Kerp was when we saw Kerp maxed his Q and then maxed W second, and also it's actually maxed his W. I wonder if that's actually just to keep up with the wave clear that currently Kami's able to do against him. Especially with that blue buff, it's going to make it quite difficult, but either way, Ocelot is winning enormously in CS currently, 55 to 35, has that nice 26 advantage 7.5 minutes in, and he will have his blue buff in about a minute here to pick up.
That is a slightly strange event, though. Falling behind to a LeBlanc early, whose only farming tool really is, well, W now that she's maxed it, but even then, it's not going to compete with Gragas barrels and her auto attacks. And yet, in spite of that, she is just really zoning him badly. And, well, maybe that's just Ocelot showing us that he is a closet LeBlanc player, but
we also have to keep in mind, though, is that, remember when we saw that gank come down bottom by both junglers, Kami actually rotated from middle down to bottom, so he missed out, actually, I think, a level, like a straight level, and he was forced out a little bit right there, and also has been doing, I think, a fantastic job of really using that to his advantage. A hook, unfortunately, not going to land. Morden coming in, he is level 6. We do get the flame. Minerva could be in trouble. Morden does have the red buff. There's the ultimate. Minerva's going to knocked up. We're going to see First Blood come in here for someone, I would imagine, is Haydal's the one to pick it up, but now he's being forced with the Caitlyn ultimate to back away. First Blood going over to OceloteWorld. Haydal picking that one up with a fantastic gank coming in by Morden.
But look at the actual gold difference. It's only 300, and it only just ticked over to that. It's not as big as it should be, considering how long it took to get that first blood.
And now Surti going head-to-head against Morden here. Morden running away since he has VRTT heading up towards him as well. He wants to go to block down this blue buff. He wants to give it over to Ocelot, but paiN responding in a fantastic fashion, trying to keep it off of that LeBlanc, because if you do that, you're not going to be able to do too well as the game goes on. But you can see the damage already done. Kami knocked down about half health. Surti does have someone available. Morden has as well. Morden actually doesn't get it. Surti is the one able to pick it up, and they do deny that blue buff away from Ocelot.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup once again. Now, will Ocelot actually be able to stay in lane at the moment? There is no explosive cast from Kami, so he doesn't have to be worried about that. But a body slam flash into a Q
or a
would
flash
be enough.
ultimate, and you're dead. You're gonna die right there. Also, like you're saying, he's gotta be very careful. He needs to make sure. He does, and he gives Kami a way to get back in this game in terms of CS and the catch back up.
He's got the flask and he's got the biscuit as well, so he's going to sustain himself back up now, and he is building that HP pool back up. But Gragas is free to roam. Gragas is free to go back, whichever one he chooses to do. Actually just going to take a Wraith camp.
Yeah, he's going to keep farming up quite a bit here. Let's look at the total goal between the two mid laners. It's actually down about 300 at the moment. Has a nice 1,200 to spend here. And right now, Ocelot is shoving that middle lane down. It looks like he actually wants to go by or maybe roam around here and really force some pressure on Kami. In the meantime, though, Surti is heading down towards the bottom side of the map. He's looking for a gank in. He hasn't used his ultimate just yet, but they have that crescendo combo if they want to go for it. They're trying to bait Ocelot a little bit far out, or OceloteWorld a little bit far out here. And Morden's heading down from the top side. He actually has ultimate available as well. We could see Major Fight break out, but just saw Surti back away.
This is once again Surti playing a counter-ganking game. He was ready for Wukong to potentially go back down. He was actually just on time arriving in the lane as up for Wukong. It's to save his team, and he's quite happy for the lane descent, because if you notice, there's a gaping CS gap, even with the gold from the kill. Caitlyn's ahead.
And that all stems from that level 1 action we saw too. We saw VRTT and Minerva go head-to-head against Dude and Haydal, and they came out the victors in that little bit of a skirmish before the minions even spawned, and it seems to be a little bit of a snowball effect. We know Caitlyn, she does fall off mid-game, and that's where Lucian really shines. And he is going for that bloodthirst. He's going to have quite a bit of damage here. I'm pretty sure he can out-trade Haydal at the moment, who only has that phase.
Caitlyn puts you in, essentially, the Caitlyn trap. You get shoved up against the tower, you get poked under the tower, and your minions are dying to the tower, so you get less lifesteal. That means as long as you don't get any kind of relief, any kind of jungler presence, you end up falling further and further behind on CS as time goes by. And bot lane has remained relatively unscathed, other than that one gank from Morden.
Surti, he's looking for a gank here in middle. He's off to the side, but Ocelot, he's not biting it. He's not going to attack that hook. He's going to wait back. Shaywell and Venom still going to head towards the top side, and Venom, being that Spectre's Cow, going to have that extra regen off of it. Morden heading down towards bottom lane as well as Surti. We might see that fight break out. Both junglers really focusing on this bottom lane at the moment, but not a lot of successful ganks have really stemmed from it.
Surti is hanging around still, waiting for Morden to do something in this bot lane, but thus far he's not had a lot of luck. There is still a Lantern gank available, the Cyclone is available, the flashes are available, and Surti is there and ready and waiting.
Right now, I think think OceloteWorld knows something's up. They think they know that Surti is here because paiN is pushing very, very heavily. And Morden's got to be careful. If he moves outside that bush towards the left side, he will be spotted by that ward. And Dude, trying to apply that pressure for that potential hook. Here it comes. Fortunately, not going to land onto anyone. And I would imagine that means Morden's going to back away, and he's going to take that white cannon.
But for all this time that Morden is spending, he's not getting a lot from it. And meanwhile, OceloteWorld are splitting gold from this top lane because JWoww, the difference is increasing as time goes by.
It is. And JWoww being forced to back away, and that gives paiN that free reign over this turret. That one's going to fall. We're going to see the first turret of the game go over to paiN, and they're going to solidify their lead here, even though they are down that first blood.
paiN continuing to take advantages here, and OceloteWorld need to do something about it. But unlike normally when top tower falls because of a jungler gank and because of a two-man commitment, there isn't really an easy dragon for them to go for. So again, Morden's only real option is to gank Olaf if he overcommits really heavily in top lane, or to try and go for the bot gank, which Surti has done so much time and spent so much of his effort on just cancelling out. Because right now he doesn't know where Morden is, so he's thinking, well, might well be the case that he's bot.
I really like this ward that Ocelot put down right here. It spots Surti coming in from that right side. Also makes it so he can't actually lose that ward if there was a pink ward in this this bush right here. Right now, paiN gonna run through that pink ward. Looks like they're gonna start grouping up for Dragon here because they have that top turret down. They can afford to leave venom down towards it. And JWoww, he's not in a position to really stop it right now. It looks like OceloteWorld are gonna have to get this up.
Yeah, and they're not even going to get top tower for it because that hasn't been taking any damage. Venom gets to leave a little bit early because there's no contest. So they will be able to save their tower. They get the dragon, getting quite a significant gold lead now. And I'm interested to see what their next move is. It feels like the next logical step trying to take that bottom tower because Surti does thanks. He is now starting to get a decent number of levels and a decent bit of item advantage. So he may just look to get the gank actually done.
It's been a relatively quiet game. I don't know how you feel about Spyington, but compared to last, not a lot of action happening. I mean, 1 kill, 14 minutes in. I think we had about 27 kills, 25 minutes or something like that last game. So it's a lot slower, and I think that's both teams realizing that paiN, hey, we're 1 map away from getting to the grand finals, and also OceloteWorld realizing that, hey, we're 1 map away from losing, from getting kicked out in the semifinals. So both teams take this very seriously, trying to pick up the win they need here.
Hesitation can destroy you, though. OceloteWorld have not been making many proactive moves, and you can see Morden has been scared go for those ganks in the bottom lane. Right, so any 12 CS advantage over Surti, who's been spending a lot of time in that bottom lane as well, just looking for that defense. And Ocelot potentially could have been killed there, by the way, if explosive castle had been thrown after that.
Definitely could have right there. And one thing you have to keep in mind is actually Ocelot building a little bit different than we saw Kurt build. He's actually going for that, I was about to say he's going for that Needs and Holy Grail, but maybe just keep that chalice for that regen in lane, because he does have the items he needs for that DFG. And Surti is pushed all the way through the jungle. He hasn't been spotted just yet. They might try to go for gank on Haydal here. It's going to be very dangerous. He's still waiting inside that tribush. Haydal actually just running away, and Surti noticing there's no wards in there. Won't get anything off either way, but we do have an orb picked up. We have that greater orb picked up on a BRTT, and we've only seen that 1 time today, or sorry, 1 time throughout this entire tournament, and that was yesterday.
It's an interesting thing about it on Caitlyn specifically, though, because sometimes it's worth it for her in order to make sure she can use her auto attack range if someone is hiding in a brush. With other characters, it's not so much use. Shavar actually now potentially is about to get some reinforcements. OceloteWorld are pretty much surrounding Olaf, who's running away and trying to recall, but oh, he does not have time.
He does have Ragnarok, he does have Ghost, though. They're not going to get the knockup, it's actually just waits on it. Ghost is popped. Looks like he should be able to run away here, and he will escape.
Okay, I'm a little bit surprised there, but no lockdown available, I guess, because of the ultimate. So OceloteWorld commit 3 people, get nothing, and paiN now have a chance to maybe try and cut them off. Surti is brave, moving towards them all, but he's actually supported by his team now, so it wouldn't be so bad if he engaged.
Also getting hit by that bear right there, and you know, BRTT yesterday on that Draven, he he is the only AD carry I've ever seen to pick up that Greater Orb, and he seems to like it and use it very well. But right now, neither of these teams want to go for a team fight. They're really hesitant. They're not feeling like they have an advantage either way, and I'm not sure paiN realizes they have that 2,000 gold lead, but it's not really reflected in the items just yet. I mean, yeah, you have BRTT with that Bloodthirster. You have that Holy Grail done for Kami middle, but that's just about it. No other major.
On Caitlyn, though, with Lucian still not having the means to get on her and get aggressive, does mean that she can continue to apply pressure to that bot lane if she chooses to do so. With the Sona with her as well, they can just continue to play this slow push across the board and then rotate for the mid lane, which Cammy is keeping pushed up very effectively.
Yes, he is, and he's starting to slowly catch up to Ocelot in terms of CS here. Ocelot's been doing a fantastic job of really trying to farm away. And still, 18 minutes in, only 1 kill, and every time I see a game like this, I think to myself, this is the type of game that's going to explode. It's going to take, whether it's in 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 100. When that explosion comes, the ending is not too far behind. It's going to be constant action left and right like we saw in the game prior. And want to fight each other because of what's at stake.
Yeah, and it's especially true that it can get really sudden advantages for one team or the other because of one of the changes in Season 4, which is now you can get a CS streak, effectively. The gold value of killing you goes up from farming. If everyone's doing nothing but farming, suddenly one team fight that goes heavily in one direction or the other can be a swing of like 5,000 gold.
That's a lot of gold. Picks that one up, and I'm surprised that actually I wish I had Kurt to talk to about this as well. You know, the little block, how effective is she if she doesn't get any kills versus the CS that she's picking up? Like right now, Ocelot's been doing a fantastic job of CS. He makes sure he keeps his items coming in. He has a DFG done, but he also doesn't have the burst potential yet that you want to see out of a block. I mean, obviously he's level 12. It's still relatively early in the game, and maybe that would change in a few minutes.
She's not quite as snowball dependent as she used to be. Nowadays, the way she tends to work is that late game, she gets to get her ultimate on a very short cooldown. She bursts someone either out of the fight completely or very, very low, and then backs off and then waits for the 15, 16, 17 seconds to get a second rotation off and burst someone else either completely out of the fight or finish someone off. So it's she's not as dependent, as I say, on snowballing as she used to be, but she can still snowball very, very hard.
And paiN, they are starting to group up a little bit here. Dragon comes in about 20 seconds. They're still leaving Ven on top lane to start pushing as he does make his way down here. Remember, last time Dragon was available, JO wasn't down in time, and it was just a free Dragon to paiN, and they're going to be there exactly as it comes up. And it doesn't look like OceloteWorld's going to even try to contest it here, but we will have Ocelot picking up his own blue. He doesn't have a lot of mana to spend at the moment. The word's down, paiN should be able to take this.
They're going to get that, but are they going to lose the mid tower? Shyvana is there. The team is there.
And he's smart man, actually trying to take that pink ward away, or take that ward away. He gets hit with pretty much everything off. Even the DFG doesn't really do too much damage to him, but it does force the Ragnarok, which opens up the potential ultimate out of Morin to knock the entire team up. But there is a crescendo, there's an Amuma ultimate, there's a Grog spell to knock them away, and right now BRTC is down at the bottom lane, and also instead of pushing middle, they're just gonna go back to farming their lanes.
And Ocelot himself, his ultimate is now nearly back up again. That's the point I mentioned before. He can get multiple rotations off, and that is why he's so valuable. But he's not doing enough damage to someone like Olaf at this stage of the game to really make that worthwhile. So as a result, BRTT, his being in bottom lane wasn't punished because Venom wasn't forced away, creating a 3v5 in the mid.
Right now, OceloteWorld, they're not far, they're not behind that much gold. Like for instance, the depth that they have hasn't been growing too much. And yeah, there has been a Dragon here or there that has really opened things up a little bit, but they're not falling too far behind. And right now we're seeing Morden, he's out towards the top side, he's looking for a gank on a Venom. Venom doesn't even have his ultimate up, right? Just over halfway done. But Ocelot's here as well. It looks like we might see OceloteWorld pick up the first turret of the game if they do want to go for it. In fact, they're actually going to do that. Xerxes off to the side. He's going to push away Ocelot. The turret, it still stands.
It does still stand, and still no team fights either, but Ocelot are also pushing down in the bottom lane. Hadel will be there. This should drop from this, but they've done no damage to it during the laning phase. paiN can't really stop them two on one though.
That would mean paiN, I want to say, most likely get this middle turret here since their AD carry support is down bottom lane. 32T will be joining the rest of the crew as well as the coming down from the top side. And we will have that 5-man push on the middle, but we do see OceloteWorld pick up that turn in the bottom lane. They do even almost keep things up 1-2, but it's will be 3-1 now in favor of paiN. They do get a little bit of extra gold off of this. But still, the game very slow here on both these teams, and it's a little bit surprising to me that it's this slow at the moment, but at the same time, it still makes sense.
They're just playing a very farm-focused game, but I feel like that's going to favor paiN in the long run. It's going to take a long, long time, obviously, for Caitlyn to outscale Lucian, but otherwise, I'd say every single character on both teams is not equivalent in role, but equivalent in terms of their late game scaling. So Caitlyn will be better than Lucian in the super late game, and arguably maybe Sona will be better than Thresh. But Shyvana is probably going to be a serious threat late game, and Wukong much the same as Amumu. So it's just going to continue until one side can find the situation to take advantage of. But because they're so scared, they're also not really getting much warding.
Well, we're about 23 minutes in. Let's go take a look at the items that we have built up between both these teams. Venom has a Warmogs. You know, why not? It's on 3,100 life right now, 23 minutes in. He has that Bilgewater Cutlass plus that Spectral's count. We see the Locket coming in momentarily for Xerxes. We see the Death Cap almost done for Kami right now, and that Bloodthirster Static Shiv picked up for BRTT.
Bloodthirster Static Shiv. Caitlyn towards some decent damage now. Not wants to be out, which is the 3 item breakpoint where she starts to scale upwards again, because that's kind of where AD carry items really come to the fore, and that's all Caitlyn is. She's just a long-range user of AD carry items in the late game. As things are right now, it's going to continue at this current throwing rate. JWoww is going to farm the jungle by the looks of it. That's a... No one's in top lane. I'm a little bit surprised to see that, because in this situation where everyone's just playing Farmville and like competing in that, an entire lane undefended when there's no real objectives to force is a little bit remiss.
I feel like watching Farmville might be more fun than what's happening right now, because this is probably one of the most boring games I've ever casted so far. It's just no one's doing anything. They're just more happy about farming away than really fighting, and that's really not going to work just yet. You need to make some fight happen. You need to make something happen between these teams. Something's got to give. And you know it's going to kick off. I mean, with what's at stake, $15,000 for first place. You know, one team is going to crack, or one team's going to get that engage that they're finally looking for and get them out of place, and we're going to have this thing break wide open. But 2.4 thousand gold is the difference between these two teams. And like I said before, it really hasn't changed. We just see Crescendo. Ocelot baits up the Crescendo. So damn well done right there, and that might have opened up the engage that OceloteWorld won.
Finally created some level of disparity. That's a major ultimate down for paiN, but because Ocelot's not going to be, OceloteWorld is not going to be in position to go for a team fight, paiN need to back away, and the Crescendo's going to be back up by the time the dragon is. So actually, it may not have really created that much of an advantage.
Well, let's see what happens here in just a few seconds. It looks like the entirety of OceloteWorld is going to be back in a lane, but meantime, so is paiN. And I think you're right. I think we're going to see the dragon. Crescendo will be available for that. So just what worked out for him in that last game, saving BRTT and pretty much giving them the victory in map number 1. We do see the Brutalizer picked up for Morden, as well as those Merc Treads. And we have, you know, JWoww, who was kind of hurting in terms of farm. He's caught back up. He's doing pretty well. He hasn't fallen farther behind, which is really key. He does have that Sunfire Cape. He does have almost that Black Cleaver if he wants to go for it. Done. He has the Bulltrotter Cutlass and the Spirit.
So now we have some actual gameplay going on. Now comes the vision fight over Dragon. paiN are going to try and rush it down again, but everyone from OceloteWorld are actually in position to look to test this. And this fight, as I mentioned, all accumulating from up, it's very important.
Nasa, he's around the back, he's looking for Gage. We just see venom actually fought off right there. He's pushed out right away. Minerva being the one focused down here as Ocelot does go back. Dragon does go in the way of paiN here. Venom very low in life. Also, unfortunately, not going to land the ultimate. Adam move finally coming in here. The Morden ultimate knocks them up, but right now we see also pick up the first kill. OceloteWorld is chasing down paiN here. They finally pick up another one. BRTT very low in life, but he almost turns around back up into JWoww. Ocelot, is he done just yet? He's looking for some sort of engage over that wall. He will hop it, but this might allow OceloteWorld to finally push down middle. They lost the Dragon, but they're going to get the 2 kills and maybe even a tower.
Yeah, JWoww is going to have to back out, but there's not going to be any way that paiN can actually safely get to the mid lane tower to defend it. Ocelot's there, and he's got his ultimate back up again. So, not a free tower, a tower for a Dragon. A little bit more map control for Ocelot's team, which could work out for them. They do have that potential for a 2-man roaming gank squad. Although I've got to say, they have Morden and Ocelot have not been working in the same way that Kerp and co were doing earlier. But even so, disparity creates gameplay.
Well, I wish disparity created more fun gameplay to watch, because this is still not really too entertaining to watch as a viewer at home. 28 minutes in here, 3-0. We still have that goal lead in favor of paiN here. And since we're about 30 minutes in, let's talk about these team fights as you break into it. What are each team looking for when these team fights break out? What's the engage? What's the disengage? Who's trying to burst down who? Who's the one going to dive to the backside? What are we looking at?
Basic plan for Ocelot himself is to try and burst someone low, then go back in. Basic plan for Ocelot's team as a whole is to wait for that opportunity when someone's been taken a little bit low, and then try and get Shyvana and Wukong on the back line. Hadel can obviously then try and grind through Sir T and Venom, and Thresh will do a lot of work in keeping them off. But they've got to be very, very careful, because the flip side plan for Sir T is very, very similar. It's just a little bit more burst that can be thrown very easily onto the back line. A lot of this is going to depend on the opportunities Ocelot create, because Cammy all throwing everything they've got in the back line, that would kill Hadel instantly. BRTT, much harder to reach his longer range, and there's not as much burst damage that will come out of Ocelot. Steve.
Oh, also, is 1-0-1, so he does maybe have some sort of snowball going on, and we saw Kerp use it in the game with Millennium, at how damn hard he can snowball once he gets those first couple of kills. And also that's where it looks like they're going to start pushing up just a little bit here. They have a couple of wards coming down into the river. Nothing really too aggressive just yet. There is one ward here to spot anyone backing up that middle lane, but both teams still very hesitant to fight. In paiN, they got the Dragon. They lost the 2 deaths. They're in the turret, but that was also due to Venom just being so far out of position.
Yeah, it looks like we're
outside Hadel going head-to-head against BRTT. The ultimate going to come in. Is he going to be off? Yes, he gets the kill. And that is 1 kill going over to BRTT finally. After such a long time, paiN picking up the first kill after about 30 minutes here. And it looks like they're going to start grouping up and start pushing down middle.
Yeah, they have the opportunity now to go for the push. BRTT is going to join up with them so they can start to siege the tower. Ocelot needs to try and use this opportunity, this time now, to poke someone low if he can. Otherwise, they're just going to have to contend with Kaylin auto-attacking and try maybe to sneak and engage on her using Wukong.
It's so tricky. Ocelot has to be so careful, because Beacon, if he overextends, gets engaged upon, and gets locked down, he's going to die, and they're going to lose more than just 1 turret here. Hadel will be respawning here in a couple seconds. paiN picking up their 4th turret of the game, maintain that lead right there. And they maintain a 3.2 thousand gold lead as well.
So, going to be going back to playing a little bit of Farmville once again. At this point, Baron rushes are starting to become a factor, because both of the teams are getting very, very farm, very, very strong, and have decent Baron clears between the 2 of them. OceloteWorld currently has the control over that area and are moving towards it as well. I feel like paiN are alert to the possibility, but then again, World can just sneak in, using the fact that they don't need... Ocelot can run interference and stop paiN from trying to contest it, and use Hadel, use Wukong, and use JWoww to try and stop the Baron going.
Here we go. Remember what happened last time OceloteWorld came in from this top side against paiN. They're trying to bait them in here. This could be very dangerous. And you're seeing paiN. They're starting to group up, starting on the side here. Will OceloteWorld spot them coming in? They did, I believe, see them at the hands of JWoww, while the rest of the team, the AD carry support, pushed down this middle lane. And unfortunately, they're not going to get the engage they wanted to. We had a little bit of an exchange between JWoww and Venom there. Not enough to really write home about. paiN getting very low. If he gets locked down, this could be the end of him. The barrel comes out, but they get the kill. No, Cersei only blocks down Morden. He's gonna fall, but who really cares at the end of things as JWoww jumping in towards the backside. Hadel is not being touched in this entire fight. Crescendo is no longer available. JWoww gets hit with the bandage. He goes down. Double kill to BRTT. They're chasing it also. Will Kanan have the ultimate available? They do have it. He's gonna use it. Will he get the kill? No, but no. He steals it away, and paiN coming out with those 3 kills after Kami getting engaged upon. But Kami's last dying wish was to barrel them into the team of paiN and to separate them, giving them those 3 kills.
And Ocelot was so determined to finally create an opportunity for his team to engage. He actually ended up hamstringing them. That's going to cost them a lot of map control, a lot of objective control. paiN pushing in, going to take the inhib, potentially going to then back out and look to set themselves up for the next Baron.
Oh my god, look at that one attack out of BRTT. Hadel might... Whew. He might be in trouble if he was to stay a little bit too long right there. But everyone's now back alive for paiN. We're seeing pings on Baron. We're seeing pings on Dragon. You can hear the crowd and how excited they are. We have a lot of money to spend across the board for them as well. And this is getting to that breaking point where paiN, with that middle inhibitor being down, this opens up so many possibilities for him that OceloteWorld has to force something here soon.
They're falling behind once again. They've lost the inhib now, so arguably now the onus is on paiN to make something happen with the pressure they've got and not just let OceloteWorld farmville until the inhib comes back up. Baron is an option, bottom lane is an option. A split push style might work for them, and they can certainly get vision control over the Baron area so long as they make sure to group up first, play it safe, and face check only using Olaf and Amumu.
Well, right now we're 33.5 minutes in. We should take stock of things. It's currently 4-4 between both these teams. 51.3 thousand goals to the 45.9. paiN completely winning in that sense, as well as those 5 turrets of 3. They have that 1 inhibitor down. They have 3 of their 4 kills on BRTT at the moment, and he is so down. How hard he can hit. He shot out with Emmett life, and even Cersei is not afraid to go for that little bit of engage. Has that rocket done? Building up towards a Randuin's, I want to imagine, with those 2 cloth armors. And also, that's where they're pushing down middle. They're having paiN out of position.
Yeah, indeed. Now Venom's actually potentially going to take a lot of damage, but he's so tanky. But the collapse is coming down.
And JWoww, he's trying to distract him. He's going to be running away as has his ultimate available. We do see Morden come over that wall towards blue buff here, and Kami will he try to steal it away with that ultimate. We're going to see Ocelot actually steal it away, so they're going to deny it away from them. They do have a little bit of control back of this game. They're forcing the fights towards the middle of the map, just on paiN's side. They're shoving down that middle lane. And paiN, they need to make some sort of answer here. They need to make some sort of engage, and it might come in the hands of the nervous Crescendo when he does have that flash available.
Letting the blue buff go, they're not a major concern for paiN. They're not actually playing the defensive game right now. It does decrease their sieging potential a little bit. The next move for paiN, though, really is to force a fight. They have a very fair AD carry, and I have to wonder why thus far they've just been kind of sitting around and not really doing much with the super creeps.
It's very true, and I think it's just not wanting to blow this lead that they've been able to build up. I mean, I'm thinking back to the Copenhagen World spring split of LCS and how they could win early on. They could dominate a game very early at the beginning, but they didn't know how to close it out. They were too afraid to go for engages that they should be able to win. They didn't really know their limits, and right now paiN seem to be having a similar problem. They have a giant advantage, but we also saw OceloteWorld have that advantage in that last second with that last engage that came out.
Yeah. Might be the heat's affecting everybody here.
It's affecting me right now. I am
really
sweating.
affecting me.
I'm surprised I might get caught out just a little bit here. There's that thrust launch to get away. We need to see paiN maybe with 205 armor. He's able to do that much damage onto him. Also, it's going to be sitting in this bush here with the help of more. They might be able to get the engage on the backside that they want. We see the hook land on Venom. That's what the target they wanted to make happen. They turn around. Also gets locked down. He doesn't hit the shot. He gets knocked away. The ace. Oh! And it picks him off here since he gets the kill. And that shuts down the major burst potential out of OceloteWorld. And Morden being forced to back out of this. And this Mipe turret going down. Cersei committed that ultimate just to get the kill on Ocelot. And it worked out.
And now that they've gotten rid of Ocelot, they're going to siege.
Oh my god, man. Plus the Lantern pulls JWoww away. She stopped the push upside level in the middle where that inhibitor is naked right now.
They should be able to get this. There's very little potential for OceloteWorld to engage this fight at a disadvantage. So that goes down. Now they can back out. If they want to, they can continue to siege though. They're not low on mana, they're not low on health. They still have all the options in the world.
They really do, and it looks like that option is going to come down to paiN here. They have those two sweeper lenses. They have that greater orb as well. They're going to hop over that wall. Remember, Morden, he is available. He has his flash. He has his smite. He has the stealth potential to come in as well. Also, there is a pink ward down. Let's take a look at that Baron Hill down to about half health now, down to about 5,000. He's going to be taken down very quickly. JWoww's going to hop in there to give him that vision. Let's see if paiN's going to try to take this down very fast. JWoww just distracted him. They said, forget the Baron. Let's hit JWoww. And the Baron down to about 1,500 health. They pushed him out. Orin's not going to go in. Also hops over the wall to see him. They get the Baron buff, and they're going to try to chase after OceloteWorld. Morden, he might be in trouble. The ace not going to come in. Oh, let's get the kill into him. Forces the flash. And OceloteWorld forced to just completely back away, but paiN, full health, almost full mana. They have a Rules ultimate up, they have the crescendo in just a second, they have the flash out of Sona, and this could be the end of the game coming here in just a few seconds.
paiN haven't backed in a long, long time. They're going to do that next, and then they're going to go and, well, siege bottom lane almost certainly. That is the best option for them right now. They can pick up their final items, pick up, for instance, a Last Whisper on BRTT, and then they can siege. But the problem is they're going to face up against Ocelot again, and unless they can catch him in the same way they did before, Caitlyn is never going to dare go near the tower for fear of that instant combo. But I feel, though, that at this point, paiN are just completely taking control of the game, and it's just Ocelot playing a very slow, defensive style.
All right, now we're 38.5 minutes in. The heat is kicking in. paiN, they can taste the victory right now. They are so close to finishing this off and advancing into the grand finals. The first Brazilian team to ever do it here until Extreme Masters Sao Paulo. They're going to start pushing this bottom lane. They don't have Sona. They don't have Caitlyn. They need to be careful because Ocelot, well, he doesn't really have the damage to burst any of those two down, but he might be able to get Kami very low off of this. And here comes the siege. Mid lane, Hasselgreen's pushing down in favor of paiN. All it really takes is that one hook and that burst potential coming out. But also, he does have blue buff. He's low on mana right now. He's using all of it just to wave clear currently, and that's going to roam out very soon. They're going to have to get this turret up in just a second. Ocelot does have those home guard boosts, though, to reach her on the fight here. It's only a matter of time before paiN get this turret.
It's always the engage threat. If Shyvana Wukong get on ARTT, he's gonna die. Oh, but the inhib tower won't drop so easily. And the mid inhib, it's not gonna respawn for a little while yet. But you have to wonder how long the siege is gonna go on for.
As long as paiN wants, as long as they can. Look at that turret dropping very fast. BRTT is destroying it. OceloteWorld, are they going to go for an engager? Oh no! Ocelot got knocked out the back, but the ultimate out of movement doesn't really lock down anyone. They're going to lose the turret, but how they lost the war, they can still go over this right now as everyone's going to be healing up with those home guard boosts. The second inhibitor does fall, and paiN, they are going to back out.
Continued objectives gained. paiN of just getting the fight, and OceloteWorld do not dare fight back. So as long as this situation continues, it's just going to be the slow bleed out for Ocelot. They need to do something.
They do, and they're going to keep searching here. He's all by himself. He's going to get caught here. He's going to get locked down. The hook not going to land. The ace level coming. It hits Dude in the face, and that has forced them up. Ocelot gets stuck on a trap,
get him.
and they could not get the kill. They committed quite a bit into that, and that is paiN with a great escape.
That's what they needed. They needed to get a pick. That one thing that their composition does better than paiN's in the late game is picks, and they just aren't finding the opportunities. Now they're in a situation where paiN are going to go the top lane or possibly mid lane when that respawns. They have all the gold advantages. They have a good sieging AD carry who's soon going to be able to build a Banshee's Veil, making it much safer to siege towers. And Ocelot are going to be forced into a situation where they engage or they lose the final few objectives, and then they just lose.
Well, right now, Ocelot, he has that Void Stop done. He has Death Cap done. He has that DFG done. He could possibly kill Kami or BRTT or even Minerva if he could get into that back line, but we saw in that last fight alone how damn hard and deadly it can be if you do try to go back there. He was knocked into his own team. Luckily, he was able to trade places with that W and stay alive, but who knows what would happen if he did get taken down. That might have been the end of the game. And right now, paiN, they're shoving up middle. They're pushing this lane in. They might start to move top lane to push that one in and go for the last inhibitor. Minerva dodging out on that hook.
This inhib will fall if paiN are allowed their way. BRTT did just lose his Banshees, which is a very critical fact. And it gives Ocelot their last chance.
There it is. He's going in for it. He does back up. Crescendo just lane on Ocelot. They're going to pile on top of him. He goes down. Move ulti, blocking down Halo while they're chasing straight for the AD carry. That in very low life. He's forced to back away, and OceloteWorld are not done just yet. They have so many people low. BRTT's not being touched. Now he's unstoppable. Picking up another kill. paiN out. He's trying to run for his life. Jaywaz saving his life. It doesn't matter. Kami gets a kill, and that is 3 men now down. They have the super minutes. They have 2 Nexus turns to take down. They are so close to locking this one away.
Ocelot's desperation to kill BRTT hasn't cost him the game. It was the only thing he could do, but it didn't work.
And unfortunately for him, he did go down. BRTT is just attacking away at those turrets. He's not taking basically any damage. They're looking for this last bit of fight. One Nexus turret falls. The second one is going to fall here. paiN Gaming are going to upset OceloteWorld, taking this 2-0 and advancing into this grand final to play against Millennium. And that crowd, a standing ovation for their home team, getting into the grand finals, being the first team ever to get there with fantastic play out of every single member by paiN. It wasn't a pretty win, it wasn't a smooth win, but it was a win nonetheless, and that's all that matters here.
And OceloteWorld are going to be disappointed with that result. They came into this maybe arrogantly, thinking, we are EU, we are one of the best regions, maybe we can just
this far in the tournament. The crowd's still on their feet. Viva Brazil is all I can really say right now, because they will be going up against Millennium, and if they play anything like they did just now, we could have paiN. We could have our first Brazilian champion here at Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo.
They would love that to a degree I don't think anything has ever been loved before by a crowd. That would be just an amazing result for them. And Millennium, they've been having some problems. Earlier today, they were having games where they were thinking, well, how are they almost losing to 7 Wars? How are we not able to close out these games? There are weaknesses. They are not indestructible.
They didn't really have the clean wins that they were expecting in that game, but paiN, I mean, I want to say this for them. The mental fortitude to just sit there 43 minutes in basically with a total of maybe 5 kills after the first half an hour, to just sit there, stay calm, stay focused, and to keep that goal in their minds. And guys, let's keep pushing this. We're 1 map away from closing this one out. We're 1 map away from getting there. And they did that. I mean, we had BRTT finish 5-0-1. He was full built with Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Banshee's Veil, Static Shift, Last Whisper, 366 CS. We had Ven in top lane, just completely controlling it. Congratulations to them. There's nothing else to say.
Respect to them. They've done a really good job.
All right, guys. In the meantime, before we get into the grand finals, we're going to head over to the stage to have an interview with paiN themselves.
Thank you very much, guys, both of our Portuguese and English as well, to our commentary team. With Kami, fabulous game, congratulations. Just explain to us right now what's going through your mind as a team.
Cara, espetacular o jogo, fabuloso realmente. Explica pra gente um pouquinho o que tá passando pela sua cabeça agora.
A gente está muito contente, a gente veio para esse jogo para ganhar, estava todo mundo muito motivado. Eu acho que isso contou bastante, porque todo mundo jogou perfeitamente. Eu estou muito feliz por isso.
They're very, very happy. They're super glad they came to this game really to win, to, dominate, and they just, are very, very thrilled for the next phase.
Okay, so you're the first Brazilian team to ever reach an Intel Extreme Masters final from League of Legends. You've set history. Can you go one more and win the whole thing?
Vocês são o primeiro time brasileiro a entrar para a história. Vocês são o primeiro time brasileiro numa final de League of Legends de todos os tempos. Vocês acham que vocês conseguem dar um passo a mais e ganhar o campeonato?
A gente veio aqui para isso, e se a gente não quisesse isso, a gente nem teria vindo hoje. Mas sim, a gente pretende ganhar esse campeonato.
Yeah, we came here exactly. They came here exactly to win. If not, if they weren't with this mentality to win, they wouldn't have come at all. And the crowd goes wild.
What do you think about the crowd here? The support that you've had yesterday and today for the team has been amazing.
O que vocês acham da galera aqui, o suporte que eles estão dando? Essa vibração para vocês tem sido fantástico. O que você acha desse tipo de fama que vocês recebem?
Olha, eu acho que a plateia brasileira não é à toa que tem fama de ser a melhor plateia do mundo. Embora eu discorde um pouquinho das vaias que os outros times receberam, a plateia está excelente.
They say that it's not, not took for granted that the Brazilian crowd is the best crowd in the world, aside from, the understandable wooing that the other teams got. The Brazilian crowd is freaking fantastic.
Okay, one final question, well actually two questions. Lastly, Katowice is now a realistic opportunity for you guys. You're going to be going to the World Championship. So how important is it for you and for Brazilian League of Legends to represent yourselves at the World Championship?
Existe uma oportunidade gigantesca agora de vocês irem para o campeonato mundial de League of Legends. É uma enorme oportunidade. Então, o que você acha que significa tanto para você, para o time, mas como para o League of Legends do Brasil em si?
É um passo enorme para o League of Legends inteiro do Brasil. O nosso esporte está crescendo, mas ainda não está onde deveria estar. Eu acho que com mais visão dos times que estão aqui no Brasil, só tende a crescer mais e mais ainda.
Brazilian League of Legends, Brazilian e.sports as a whole is not as big as it could be, and he expects that this would be an amazing opportunity, an amazing, step to make this market grow, make then everyone take Brazilian e.sports more seriously.
Okay, well, we hope that's the case for you. One final question, it's a cheeky question. There was a sign in the crowd earlier says, Cami's the new ex-paiN. Comment?
Sorry, again?
Cami's the new ex-paiN. Comment?
Eu não sei o que dizer sobre isso, não. Muito obrigado se vocês pensam assim.
He thanks a lot, but he has no word about it. Let's maintain that a secret.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, paiN Gaming!
paiN Gaming!
Do not go too far away because we will be right back with the grand final for the Intel Extreme Masters, São Paulo.